Congratulations on the kissing booth too. It's a great accomplishment. I love the film.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's something that is very special to everyone that's been involved. You know, it's something that's been close to our hearts for a while. Everyone's been like one big family.
What was your audition process like for the project?
It's a funny story. I originally didn't audition as Tuppen. I auditioned as Ollie originally. And that was a script that I got given, and I went in for the audition, and I walked into the room and I prepared this whole big thing to do it. And I walked into the room and the casting director was like, "There's not a chance I'm going to let you do this." And I was like, why can't I audition? She's like, "You don't fit the role at all. You're way too tall, you're way too big. It's not going to fit this character, but we do have this other character, Tuppen. But we think that we found the right guy, and we think that he's been cast. So here's the script, go outside and learn it quickly. We'll give you 5 minutes and then come back in and do your thing." And I was like, okay, cool. And went and learned it and came back in, and, everything kind of just went from there. Had callbacks and then just kind of took it from there. And yeah, here we are.
Definitely. Was the kissing booth like your first major project that you worked on? So like your first big audition?
Well, I've done a lot of other big auditions that I obviously just didn't get or whatever, but like very special to be a part of. But the first film that I ever did is Journey is the Destination, which was an independent film that got bought over by Netflix. I don't know if it's on Netflix right now, but it was on for quite a while, which was quite a special project as well. Yeah.
How would you describe your character?
That's a really good question. This was actually a question in the audition. The way that I would describe Tuppen is so sweet at heart. Maybe not always the first to realize something, not always, like the most switched on. But you can't help but love him. He's open-hearted, raw, just is who he is. I think he has this whole facade of having to be like the dude, like all about sport. I just think he makes a lot of mistakes. He's very human, but he has this quality that despite his mistakes and despite so many shortcomings, at the end of the day, he's just a normal guy that's just, trying to like find his way. And there's something really likable and very lovable to that. It was a really cool twist for the writers and for Vince, the director, to put onto the character, where there wasn't necessarily like a bad guy, in that he was the guy making the mistakes, and he was the guy that was messing her around and messing up all the time. But despite him doing that, you couldn't help but love the guy. You almost felt for him, and that was kind of the quality that we were going for Tuppen. Yeah.
Definitely. Did you bring any of yourself into the role? How did you kind of make Tuppen your own?
These are really good questions. I did bring a little bit of myself into it, just from the sense of I was so happy to be there, as all of us were, as obviously the whole cast were. And it's through really good casting that everyone got along so well. So it literally made it one big family. So at the end of the day, it really did feel like everyone coming together, like in a school environment, if I can say that, and everyone just being friends and having fun. And I've always been a people's person. I love people, and spending so much time as a family, coming onto set, it was so easy being around everyone. And I think that element of me, it's genuinely just us being on camera having fun. And I think that was what came through in Tuppen's character, was I was just genuinely having fun being there.
And you mentioned that you're really close with the cast. It was like hanging out with your best friends. Did you guys do anything when you weren't shooting, or hang out or anything like that?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of workouts with Jacob, a lot of workouts with Joel. Both legends. I love both of them. Lots of dinners and lunches and stuff like that. It's such a big cast, and this is what's really special, is that it's such a big cast that you'd spend one weekend with this cast member, and you'd spend 2 days later with these 5 people, and then these 3 people. And it was actually such a tight-knit family that even our crew were a part of all the things that we would do. Our ADs and everyone involved on set would actually be doing the activities and stuff with us on weekends. I know that the American cast, there was a lot of stuff in South Africa that they hadn't seen and hadn't done. So a lot of weekends were filled, doing all the stuff that there is to do around Cape Town as well.
That's amazing. And you mentioned that like you're really close with your castmates. What was like a typical day like on set for you when you weren't going to shoot?
A typical day on set, like early wake up, get taken through, get like fetched from wherever it is that we were all staying. I get taken through hair and makeup, the usual. If you have any tattoos, tattoo cover. I have a few tattoos now that they had to cover for the second one, so I'm not ashamed. The poor makeup team had to be on top of me for that. So we had to cover tattoos and stuff first thing in the morning. So usually people with tattoos are there a little bit earlier just to get that stuff done and out the way. And then it's breakfast, as much coffee as your body can handle, and get to set and go through the scenes. It was everything flowed so easily. It's really difficult to explain in that, obviously I played a very minor role, and I have to give so much love to the fans, and to director and producer and to everyone involved in giving me the opportunity to do it. And the love for the role that I had is insane, how quickly people took to that. So being on set wasn't necessarily stressful and so much to handle. It was genuinely just the place that everyone wanted to be. Everyone went home excited to get back to set and do what they love doing.
That's amazing. Did you have a favorite scene that you filmed?
First or second one?
Oh, you can give me both. That would be cool.
I'm gonna have to go with the whole skirt scene from the first one. Definitely. Just because it was such a classic, and it was so well put together by Vince, like directing it on the day, and obviously the writing for it was brilliant as well for that scene. That was also one of the first days on set. So, you've just met everyone, everyone's trying to get comfortable with each other, and they're like, hey, here's a skirt, just wear this for the day. So I had to walk around set with in a skirt. So that was a lot of fun. I think it's also like all the memories that aren't on camera that make that, obviously a lot of fun. In the second movie, there were so many activities in that movie, like all the sports activities and like volleyball and tug of war and all that kind of stuff. That was also tons of fun doing all of that with everyone, and we had so many extras there as well. Also shout out and respect to them as well for also being there and being involved. That was a lot of fun. That was like real bonding moments for all the cast members together, right? You kind of forget that you're working and just end up having fun.
That's a great thing to have, a cast where everyone gets along and is enjoying themselves on the project. Do you have like a behind the scenes secret or a fun fact about the set? I know it was filmed in South Africa and some parts like in a studio. What can you tell me more about that?
Over South Africa, which is unusual, I think, for something at this caliber, and for the attention that it's been given like globally, to be filmed in South Africa. Obviously, I'm initially from South Africa. So there's a lot of pride in that for me. I love that. And I love that, people are giving my country the chance to shine, get to showcase its beauty, which is awesome. On set secrets.
Or like a fun fact.
Oh, I have a fact. This is pretty cool. So, that series Black Mirror? The one with Miley Cyrus? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the house that they shot that in, that's also Cape Town. And that's the same house that they shot. I think that is Ul's house or Lee's house, one of their house. And it was the same one.
So cool. Wow, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
So what has the fan reaction been like to the film for you? It was just released yesterday. Have you had a lot of like attention on social media? What has that been like for you?
There's been, a lot of love. Genuinely, it's weird. I'm really grateful for it. And it's awesome that people have taken to it. And I think it's because it's so relatable for so many people. There's so many, real life issues that the characters are dealing with, especially when it comes to relationships and friendship. It's also a little bit of an eye opener to society today, and what it's like being a teenager in high school and how difficult things can get and how weird and messed up, and confusing life is. And that's just what life is at that age. So I think it's really cool that they kind of got to showcase that. And I think that's kind of why the fans pick up on that. And everyone's really genuine, whether it's over social media or it's in the movie or it's the friendships and relationships with each other. Everything's, very genuine. And I think that attracts the fans a lot as well. There's not a single person on the set and in the movie that, if they weren't there, it wouldn't be the same thing. Like every single person, every single character or actor, no matter how much you see them or how little you see them, every single person had a reason for being there, and played a role in making this something special. And I think that's kind of what the fans resonate with, So yeah, the love is awesome. I mean, Joey and Joel and Jacob and everyone's so good at giving love back as well. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff that they've planned for this weekend and for the week, just to kind of, like give back to the fans.
What have you been doing to stay like safe and healthy and have fun inside?
A lot of home workouts and stuff like that. I think for me and probably for a lot of people, the most difficult aspect of this was like the mental side of it. Just having to stay at home, be locked indoors. I was actually in Canada when COVID hit, and we had to jump on a plane and come home, and be with family and just make sure everyone's safe. And obviously it's easier to be at home when something like this goes down. So I think it's more the mental side, just like spending a lot of time writing, and I'm around great people, like family and everyone that's around me all the time, just to kind of keep, the wheels turning, kind of keep that, creative process going. And whatever it is that you love doing, you now have the time to do it to your heart's extent, so spend the time doing that, I guess. But yeah, other than that, like just watching how you eat and just finding ways to train. I mean, everyone's in the same boat. It sucks for everyone. And if you can find little ways to make life easier for yourself,
Definitely.
So I think that was kind of the way to go about it. It really hasn't been an easy situation for anyone, for that matter. We all kind of had to go through this together.
This project's obviously opening a lot of doors for you, or potentially you could have different roles because of this. Do you have any dream roles that you want to pursue?
Whoa, I love that question. Dream roles? Yeah, like the reason, and I've been identifying this in myself slowly over the past 2 years as to why I love acting and why I love doing what I do. Whether it gets attention or doesn't get attention, whether people see it or don't, why do I love doing this? And I think the reason why I love doing this is just because of a love of people, and feeling like use your talents and gifts to tell people stories. There's so many people out there that have so many important stories to tell and important stories to share, and there's so much that we get out of film. We learn things, our eyes are open to society and to the world around us, and to the positions that other people are in. I'd love to do something, to make it sound simple. I'd really like to do something that's a little bit like darker, something a little bit more emotional. That could be, like quite a different twist, to kind of take something challenging on like that. There's a lot of different like industries that I find interesting, right? Like, there's serious issues nowadays,
Definitely.
with like drug addictions and stuff like that. And there's certain issues in sport that I find quite interesting. And just certain relations between, certain types of people. Like there's so many important aspects, like the whole Black Lives Matter thing, like Pride Month and all that stuff, like all these things that just come up when your eyes are opened to other people's stories and you see what other people are going through. Something in me goes, I want to be a part of telling that story, and helping those people share that.
Honestly, where can fans stay connected with you? Are you on social media, like Instagram or YouTube or anything like that? Or what do you do?
I'm on Instagram, at Just Blame Josh. And then I do have a YouTube channel because I host a podcast. The name of the podcast is Storytime with Josh Eady. And it's basically just me having a bunch of my friends on the show, as well as different guests around the world. And we just, sit down and talk about whatever we find interesting, and, whatever's going on in the world at the moment. So yeah, that's just under Josh Eady on YouTube. So Instagram and YouTube. The podcasts are all over Spotify and Apple and SoundCloud and all that stuff as well. So yeah, you can find a whole lot of me there.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's just such a great show. I really appreciate your time.